Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Say What. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a minute, y'all. I've been coming. Listen, y'all, I got a lot going on, but I said today, listen, I'm going to come out the cave and come talk to y'all. Welcome, welcome. We are the Starlights over here. This is where we get into it, just all things celebrities, what's going on in the world, like everything, yo, we get into it. But today, it's just on my spirit. We got to get into just the cost of just to breathe air. I feel like y'all, it's hot, it's hot outside, but can you even afford to go outside? Like when I do step outside, decide to get behind the wheel and just see the prices on signs such as gas signs, or even when you have the audacity to get out your car to go inside of a store and you see the prices on the stuff in the store. So it's like, well, damn, do I want to get back in my car and go drive? But then you about to be using up that gas that's costing almost $6. So the struggle is real. I want to come on here and talk about it. And I want you guys to talk about it with me because it's a lot. I ain't even made little comments just to live, to have a roof over your head, what these prices are looking like. Like, y'all, I had the nerve to get out of a car. Sis had the nerve to stop at a new development. So I live in y'all know I live in Georgia, and y'all, houses are just popping up, communities, builders, like left or like anywhere that they can clear out the trees. They like, damn, these deers, y'all just gonna have to, y'all finna probably start seeing more of this dead deer just laying on the side of the road now, because there's everybody's just trying to take up any little space or whatever to build on. And then when they decide to go ahead and slap that price on it, it's just like, it didn't took your breath away. So you like, well, damn, do I need to go back home? Listen, as I say, it is real just to even leave your house. If you are blessed enough to have a house or a roof over your head, an apartment, a condo, whatever it is, sis, can you afford it? Oh, and then we're going to segue y'all into, okay, well, the whole I don't need no man. Can we still walk around saying what the hell we don't need with prices like this? Really, like, really, can we still walk around saying that? Because these prices are going up so much. But listen, peep game, that money in your check ain't going up like that. Not for the masses. It's not going up like that. So it's just like, okay, with that say, y'all, we grew up hearing stealing from Peter to pay Paul. So now with these high prices, you now got to be just shuffling, moving money around. But it's like, what money? Like, what money? Do we got the money coming in to be paying for the gas? Yeah, I done got hit with people saying, sis, I can't even afford to come visit you, come out your way because of the gas prices. Or here's another one. I got somebody hit me with, yo, sis, I ain't bought no wings in about 4 months because I can't be paying no $15 for a 10 piece. Listen, have y'all peeped the prices on the hot wings, on the wings? I don't care if you want you some lemon pepper sprinkles, some barbecue sauce, some hot, some mild, some too damn hot, some hold up, not so damn hot flavor hot wings. Regardless, the price is going up. What do you do? Are we all going to become vegan? Like, what do you do? Then you still got those ones who argue, it costs more money to eat healthy. Listen, we're going to get into it. So today, I think right now, I want to focus on, let's talk about the gas prices. I'm going to share my screen. I just did some kind of high level research on the gas prices because I'm trying to get some rationale on why the prices are looking the way they look. Listen, I live, like I said, I live in Georgia, and where I live, there's the grocery store Kroger's. Again, I'm in the South, Georgia. Kroger's is where it's at. Listen, you got your little Kroger Plus card. You done gone shopping. You decided to mess around and go get you some gas. Voila. You go ahead and scan that card, and they talking about, sis, you done save 30 points peak. When I say I can't sleep at night, if I decide to try to go to another gas station to think I'm gonna get gases in these prices, no, I don't care if it's as minimum as 3 cents that I can save on. If I can save on gas, and that's where I'm going to go. no lie, me and my son driving on E, as I once heard a friend say, on excitement. Y'all, I needed some gas. I got this new vehicle. I'm still trying to figure it out to see, okay, well, sis, how many miles you got before you walk it? I don't know, y'all. But guess what? Me and the son showed pray to all the guys that we got to that Kroger because to get some gas because listen, I need to save them extra points. And I had about 10 extra points on that account. At this point, listen, you might see quite a lot of people damn stuck on the side of the road because they done played some damn move, done some shit like me. Where they like, I ain't stopping at this one. I gotta keep going to the next one and hoping that the pricing looking better on that one. Because listen, everybody car ain't got the little feature my husband car got where it can like tell him where the best gas price is. Listen, I'm damn going to Kroger. I need goddamn save. So we made it. Needless to say, we made it to Kroger's, saved 10 cents, and it was all good. Like I slept very well that night. But that racetrack, I'm sorry, racetrack, I wouldn't have been able to sleep. So let's get over into this gas. Y'all know how I do over here. Please, as you come in, like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts because y'all dang sure finna hear my thoughts as usual. But we gonna get into it because this is ridiculous. And me, I'm a whole married woman, y'all. Sis been married going on almost 20 years. I know I look super young, but yes, I've been married for a minute. So when I'm hearing the other sisters talk about what I don't need, listen. That Chevron price up there to me should be speaking to your soul to say that you might want to switch some gears to you might want to switch gears, change that whole process, go on Apple, activate your Bumble account, your what else? What you got out there? You got your Bumble. Come on, y'all help me out because there's so many of them out there, but you need to activate them all. Go get you a little photo shoot to get your little pictures up there because we need to go ahead and start doing some recruiting over here to get some help with some of the stuff that's going on with these prices. Calling 511 for a hero. Welcome, Jennifer Bibby, and I hear you. Listen, we need help out here. Like the days of I don't need, sis, you got to snap up out of that. But let me share my screen, and I'm gonna show you the stuff that that's been what's been hurting my heart as I'm reading these articles pertaining to the gas. Listen, so this is from Fortune. Don't expect a huge rise in food prices to show anytime soon, Bank of America. Listen, I don't even want to get into that one yet because listen, we are already still struggling with gas prices. But let me show you another one. I meant to get on the fuel one. We're gonna come back to that one because that's a whole nother situation. Let me get to the one that I really wanted to show y'all. See, these prices got me so flustered. I done went to the damn wrong article, but that's all right. We gonna get it together. Okay. I think this is where I want to go. Let's start here. We're going to go here and on Insider. Skyrocketing gas prices have sparked fuel thefts that are just plain weird, using hidden tanks, power tools, stolen gas ads on social media. Listen, the crooks then got resourceful. This article was posted 3 hours ago. Time's hard when the crooks didn't have to gonna step up their game and be like, you know what? We got to become more innovative. When it comes to what we do around here, because we need gas too, and we gonna need gas to get to the next theft. Because think about, they don't be doing that crap on foot. They need some wheels, some transportation. So they like, listen, we vested too. We're vested too. We need to be able to get to our destinations without running out of gas. So we won't get caught and go to jail or be up underneath the jail. So let's get into this article. Listen, the headline alone just took me out. So staggering prices have prompted a wave of gas thieves to become criminally creative in their efforts to avoid the rising cost of gasoline. These crooks are like, listen, no ma'am, no sir, we can't do it. We can't do it. The amount of theft, what we stealing, like we ain't getting enough out there. We need to make sure that these gas prices can offset, and make it make sense as we go into the next house we trying to rob, whatever we trying to do. We need the gas to be able to get there. Although AAA reported a national average around $5 per gallon earlier this month, a downtown Los Angeles station reached $8, nearly $2 over the state average. Listen, that is a whole $10 bill. Remember back in the day, y'all, when you was little, you might, if your parents had a little something, you was able to get you an allowance for maybe like $10 a week. Stop it. They talking about like now that whole $10 that you done doggone cleaned up the backyard, the dog poop, your room, the toilet, got your grades on point. That whole $10 finna go into the gas tank just for just 1 gallon. Stop the madness. Let me carry on with this article, y'all. The West Coast leads in high, and let me throw out there, I'm from the West Coast. I am from California. Bay Area, Warriors, go all of that. But sis still got a whole attitude over here because I'm still mad about these gas prices. But I am happy that the Warriors won. Anyway, the West Coast leads in high gas prices with Washington, Oregon, and Arizona, in addition to California, all averaging more than $5 a gallon, while states like Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana come in just under the national average, AAA reports. Baby, the struggle is real. The nationwide rise stirred panic, and some have found illegal ways around the hefty prices of a full tank. So, in Virginia Beach, 2 men were charged with grand larceny, conspiracy, and possession of burglary tool, accused of stealing thousands of dollars in fuel this week from a closed local Citgo gas station. Listen, y'all, what category are you putting all this in when you go before the okay? Hi, Your Honor, I'm here, and you listening to what your charge is gonna be, and you done stole some gas. Like, what charge? Like, listen, I know the jury, you shook, you like, what category are we putting this up in? Because it's some new stuff. Like, these prices is create new type stuff going on where they gonna have to create whole new charges before they damn send you away and lock you up. But please believe they gonna have somebody to do it. According to the Virginia Police Department, they used devices to take the gas from pumps, then sold it at a discounted price, advertising on social media. If you don't stop, so is Pookie going to his grandmama house and in the backyard? You doing, y'all, I don't know, I live in the South, y'all, so they be having like drive up at least in our black areas, y'all, they have like a drive up liquor store. You ain't even got to get out of, like, y'all, in DeKalb County, they have like, I'm sure that thing's still there because I don't see why it would have shut down. You can literally drive up and you like going through, like, it's almost like it remind me of like a carport, and you drive in there and you get your whatever you trying to get you. So are they doing drive up like with this gas station where Pookie or Ray at their mom house, at auntie house, and yo, you can come up there and get you some gas for the low. Listen, I cannot, when I say these people are resourceful, and with this social media, listen, I blame everything on social media. Women ain't got no man, social media. Kids wilding out, twerking, social media. Listen, I blame everything on social media. Local news reported highly modified trucks being used to steal tens of thousands of gallons during the past few months from Las Vegas gas stations. Police grew suspicious of motorists spending over an hour at gas pumps, yet paying only $20. Listen, if you don't sit the hell down somewhere and discover they were filling hidden tanks, $20. You done damn got enough gas for everybody, the whole south side of Decatur, and for $20. Y'all know, y'all, I wonder if, listen, I wonder if this was our people. Listen, let me, $20. Again, I'm blaming on social media. We're going to say it's the millennials on this one. You know, these millennials, you know, they brains on some other stuff. They smart as hell. In California, residents are being warned that their cars are also potential targets for fuel thieves. Gas theft could leave car owners with costly damage to their tanks as power tools replace rubber hoses to siphon out fuel, Fontana Police Department told KTLA. Man, y'all, you know, a lot of this stuff I ain't never even heard of, y'all, in all of my little 40 plus years. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot. And they talking about these prices and stuff ain't going down no time soon. And this is where we at now, getting gas for all of Decatur on $20. On $20, you know, they say $20 on pump 3. But in Utah this week, a man was captured on surveillance as he caught fire attempting to steal gas from a truck. Newspaper Week report. Branch manager of Summit Fire Protection, Travis Mills, told the local news station that the company's trucks have been targeted before. Quote, it's sad because times are tough for a lot of people, but it's not worth the $5 that he would have to have saved for the injury that the guy sustained. Although Florida's average cost of a gallon is below the national average, Tampa Bay area police uncovered a gas theft ring in February. According to NBC News, the 6 men in custody accused of stealing at least $60,000 in fuel from several stations in the area. Y'all, have this replaced the PPP loan? Y'all remember last year, last couple of years, everybody was getting them PPP loans, and you're like, oh Lord, folks going to jail. Y'all, is this the new PPP loan hustle? I'm just saying, because I ain't heard or seen no numbers like this when it comes to theft since the PPP loan. Quote, the report also goes on saying a June report from AAA predicted continued pump price shock. You got that right, shock, as crude oil prices remain volatile. The price per gallon for gasoline will likely remain elevated, it said. Y'all, so basically they saying, if you're gonna want gas or need gas, you gonna probably have to make a decision on what's gonna be for dinner, because the dinner money gonna have to be allocated to gas. So it's gonna be pretty much gas and ramen noodles, not gas and steaks. Like that's like, yo, where we at? Jennifer says the West Coast got a gas prices looking like credit scores. For real though, like that. It's so unfortunate. Like, there is no reason for your gas price to be even higher than your credit score. Let's even talk about that. Like, they just something's wrong with that all the way around. Listen, let me say, I found this chart. I'm going to share this chart I found. Let me see. That that's got some interesting data pertaining to the gas prices at different locations. Let me see, where's that? It's a little chart I found. Okay, here we go. So gas prices. So this is red. Yeah, look, okay, peep this red. Look, this us. Our today's AAA national average $4.98 so that we can round it up, $4.99, $5. Prices as of 6/18/22. Y'all, that's today. What? And then, okay, so Georgia, let's go and skip over where I'm at. I told you I'm in the lovely state of Georgia. $4.48. That's our gas. Like, y'all, it's crazy. So we just almost a little less than 50, right at 50 cents, almost, less than what the national average is. It's crazy. Like, it's ridiculous. So let me scroll down here, and y'all, Lord forbids I mess around and hit that button that y'all ever accidentally hit the button for premium? Y'all, I could have stopped breathing the day one time. I think it was some years back when prices was, I don't even know if we was having a whole issue really with prices. But listen, baby, sis accidentally hit that damn premium price thing and started. My feelings were so hurt. I will say I never made that mistake again. I think the last time when I did, I stopped the whole transaction and went to a whole nother pump and started the transaction over again. What you not going to do, you are not going to get this $5.20 out of me per gallon. That's what you not going to get. You finna get this $4.48 from me. And I'm mad and I'm in my feelings about that. But you ain't getting all of this. You is not getting that $5. We will stop. We will close up shop, sir. Gas owner, there's a problem here. I need you to stop this gas. I need you to be able to help me to clear this out to start my transaction over, because I can't do it. I cannot do it. So regular unleaded average price looks like we're at $4.50. We're going $4.50. Y'all, the struggle is absolutely, absolutely real. Again, back to the question, ladies, do we still not need men? Do we still not need men? What are your thoughts on that? Do you still not need men? Are you still the independent woman that do not need a man? Marinate on that. Because that's the question. Like, because listen, that what you not going to hear me running around saying is what I don't need no damn man. Yes, the hell I do. And sis, you do too. And we're getting into it tonight on the why you need. And Exhibit A, we just covered fuel. So that $4.50 and you a Georgia resident, we're gonna go with that then. Why you gonna need one. You gonna need one. That part right there. So let's segue over to housing. Listen, like these housing prices, like I said, have y'all been outside? So look, you driving around and you like, wow, they're building, all these beautiful homes, and I wonder how much are they costing. And then like you like lose your breath when you see that the sign has a starting price of like 490,000. And then you're thinking about, remember, if let's just be real, that most Black women, they're not married. That that's a whole nother set of stats that I don't know if we're going to get into now, because I think I might even have a video out there talking about that. But ladies, you know what your money look like. You know what your money look like, and you can realistically ask yourself, you can realistically ask yourself and answer it. If you can I buy a $500,000 home by my dang self? Like that's a whole real question today. Because with the way these prices on these houses are, you're gonna have to have somebody else going on that loan. Like, sis, the days of you just been like, I'm working at Wendy's, I'm working at Winn-Dixie, bought my house, I'm closing on the 15th. No. That's a thing of the past. That's like a whole thing of the past. So let me share my screen, and we're finna segue over to housing. Yeah. Listen, ladies, by the end of this live, I want our ladies to just reevaluating life, reevaluating who you giving your time to, the whys you giving your time to. I want you to have a strategy plan in place on how you finna work through these things that we're touching on. You gonna have to do some real soul searching, because that time is now. That time was like yesterday, but we're getting into it now today, June 18th, 2022 at 8:32. Like, we're getting into it because there is no more time to waste. We're not getting any younger. These prices are not going down, they're going up. Our money ain't, some of our money might be growing some, but just be real, is it growing at the pace that the economy, as far as with the price of things, are growing? Like, is your money growing that fast? So let's get into this Forbes article. Question: will the housing market crash? Experts give 5-year predictions. So y'all been hearing a lot of people like, oh, I'm not going to maybe buy, these prices are ridiculous. I'm just going to rely on just a crash, a housing market crash. Okay, let's talk about, is that coming? Is that coming? Do we foresee that being around the corner? So this article was dated May 4th, 2022. So it's pretty current. So let's see what it says. This story is part of a series that asks housing experts to give their forecast for the next 5 years, how investors are impacting the market, and what state or federal intervention, if any, is needed. So the housing market appears to be operating without breaks as home prices continue to climb. The national median listing price saw another double-digit increase in April, climbing to $341,600. And even with April's 19.1% jump from a year ago, mortgage rates continue to tick up, and buyers are not backing down. Y'all, I remember back in maybe around like 2018, and when year over year, the pricing of housing was going up, just like at that time, it was like 7 years, the previous year from, I think I was sitting it was in like 2018, from the previous year, I guess of 2017, the price of housing had gone up just 7%. I remember having that whole conversation with someone, and he was he taught real estate course and things like that, and he, just a little background about me. I am also a licensed real estate agent in the state of Georgia. So at that time, I was just doing some continuing education classes. And he said that people's income weren't rising at 7% year over year, but the housing was. And then he went ahead and talked about just these predictions of what the housing market and things was going to be looking like. So mind you, like I said, that was in 2018. 2018, and he just talked about all the growth that we were going to see, how what we were seeing today as far as with the buildings, like the housing, like basically he was right. He knew his stuff. He talked about people no longer really running and flocking to Florida like they used to, that Georgia becoming that place because it was cheaper to live here in Georgia. The man also talked about at that time, a lot of the senior developments were popping up. You guys drive around, you see these nice communities for senior development. Have y'all ever gotten out the car? Again, this is when I talk about you decide, you come up with this idea to leave your vehicle and walk up inside of someplace. Listen, have you gotten out of the car, if you didn't see the sign, the pricing advertised, to learn the pricing of such to live in such a beautiful community for seniors? Though the pricing the pricing of those places, I remember, it was almost 2 years ago, I stepped foot inside of one to learn pricing for potential clients and things. The pricing on one that was like under 2,000 square feet was like more than my house. My house. And let me just tell you, my house is way bigger than that. I'll sit that there. But it was more than my house. So I seen where things was going then. And that was like 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. And at that time, where your average house was maybe about low 200,000s. Low 200,000s. Well, I would say probably about 2018, your average house was probably in the lower 200,000s. Now today, guys, your average house, like if you're not already leaving your house and with your checkbook ready to write the check out or be approved for a loan for a minimum of $400,000, you might as well go ahead and sit at the crib or wherever the hell you live at, because it's going to be a waste of time. You are priced out. You are priced out. This article goes on to say, as more signs indicate the housing market is on a fast-paced upward trajectory, many are wondering, are we entering a housing bubble? And will the market crash or at least deflate at any point in the near future? Forbes Advisor asked nearly a dozen housing experts what their forecast is for the housing market in the next 5 years. While most experts expect homeowner demand to continue, there are some warning signs that home prices could falter amid rising inflation and geopolitical uncertainty. So what I'm saying, back to, can your average person, and particularly a woman, a single woman, a lot of women have children, buy a home priced at $450,000, $500,000 by herself? And I want to say that the answer is no. Remember, I say your average person. You are going to have your women who are high earners, but collectively, that's not the case for our community. So that means that it's going to be a lot of families that are stuck having to rent. But again, rental prices, rent is even going up. I've even been hearing that even for rentals, there's those bidding wars, just like it is with housing. If any of you have, within the last, I would say, 3 years, just about, being in a bidding war with trying to buy a house, where you're going out and you're like, oh, this house is nice. And that sign back in the day when there was such thing as a $250,000 house, and you think you want to go and check out that house and try to make an offer, and you in line with about 25 people, double digits in front of you, and you all are submitting your application, praying to the gods that your offer is accepted. That is what we're dealing with today. So what that goes on to say, since we're creating a bidding war, you may or you may not know, but the price of a house that you see listed online, that house is not going to sell for that price. That house is going to sell likely for $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 more than that price that you were looking at. Remember, I talked about a bidding war. You're not alone with shopping for a home. And what's happening is that you have a lot of like investors out here who are buying up the real estate. So you, as a homeowner, with your maybe combined, if you're married, $120,000, annual income, who are still relying on, your typical, normal FHA conventional financing, VA loan, you're competing with investors who have with bottomless pockets. So they're outright saying, yo, I will pay you cash for your house. That's what's happening. So Cash always look the most appealing when deals are presented to buyers. Why? Because you don't have to wait on all the hustle, everything that goes along when you're dealing with banks and all that. Y'all know how that is if you've ever bought a home or gone through refinancing. Like, it's a lot of this red tape, and buying a house is very stressful. So, sometimes they might come back and be like, okay, the numbers ain't, the math ain't math, and it ain't looking like we can do it. All of that. So if someone comes and be like, yo, I'll buy your house, sis, right now. You got a list for 450 here. I'll drop 500,000 for it, and we can be good. And I don't care what kind of condition it is. We ain't even got to go through no inspections or nothing like that. Do you think I would accept that deal, or accept the deal with a couple coming and relying on financing, and they're praying to the gods that we can get to closing? No, I am going to go with the cash offer. Period, point blank. That is what's happening. So you got your families out here competing with people like these investors who got these bottomless pockets, who are paying this money, and they can just buy it. And guess what? Like, what they're doing, they're renting these homes. So guess what? The way of our future is that we're going to have an influx of renters, because people aren't going to be able to afford to buy. And these houses right now that we're seeing on the market here, there, but you don't know, but a lot of them are being bought by investors. And the investor is putting a renter in there. So that's, just a little background with the real estate part. That's what's going on right now. That's what's going on. As they say, some of you have lived by or believe in, there's a such thing as too late. Like, you got to pull the trigger. You got a lot of people who are scared to kind of bust a move and make a decision. Oh no, I'm not ready. I'm afraid, and with today's market, you can't really have that type of mindset where you're afraid to make a move, because it's legit, like, time is of the essence. Like that's how fast these prices are growing. Time is of the essence. My home that I live in right now, we purchased it in 2018, y'all. And listen, y'all been seeing how these prices are jumping. So you can just imagine what if I were to put my house on the market today, what I can list it for. That's all I'm saying. So again, that was 2018, pre-pandemic, pre all of that, inflation, all that. That is when I bought my home. Praise God. That's when I bought my home. I legit cannot imagine being in the housing market shopping for a home together. Question: are we headed into a housing bubble? I hear that a lot. As I say, I'm a licensed agent, so I get into conversations, quite a bit with people, about purchasing houses, and they're, they just, want to pick my brain and get my opinion on things. So let's see what Forbes has to say about this question of, is there going to be a housing bubble? The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas identified signs of a brewing U.S. housing bubble in a blog post March 29. Though the sharp increase in home prices in itself does not indicate a bubble, the report said there are other fundamental factors to consider, including shift in disposable income, the cost of credit and access to it, supply and disruptions, and rising labor and raw construction materials costs are among economic reasons for sustained real house price gains. What causes the housing market to be unhinged from those fundamentals is when there is a widespread belief that today's robust price increases will continue. The Dallas Fed report said if many buyers share this belief, purchase arising from a fear of missing out can drive up prices and heighten expectations of strong house price gain. Like I said, guys, remember I talked about how some people have been like afraid to pull the trigger. So this is what I tell people a lot of times when I get into conversations with them, as far as what I feel contributes to why within the last, let me see. So we're in 22, that COVID, the P hit in 2020. So it's almost like in year 2020, the world froze. People were just afraid to bust a move because they didn't know if their jobs were stable. If they did want to buy a house, it was just like, okay, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. So you have a lot of people who decided during that year of 2020, I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting tight, I'm sitting still. But then you had those people, anyone that I would come in contact with at that, to that time, that I would still encourage them to purchase. So there were people that did indeed do that and who are grateful that they did, because guess what, during 2020 you weren't competing with people. It wasn't no thing about people having, a long line of people submitting offers and things like that. It was still a buyer's market, I'd say, because right now it's a seller's market, period. Just so you understand, these prices, it's a seller's market, meaning that basically these sellers can list these prices and they're like, yo, if you want my house, you finna pay this money. Otherwise, there's like 20, 30 other people who want this house. 2018, that wasn't the climate. So you legit can walk into a community, not get put on a waiting list to be able to purchase that house. If your finances is in order, you can go ahead and write that contract up. I did it in 2020. Like so I know from experience the difference of how it was in 2020 with being with clients and being able to go wherever we wanted, and the price wasn't some astronomical price and you weren't in line or competing with other people for that same one house. That was a whole thing, guys. Like it seemed like right now it was like a back in the day things, because things have gotten so crazy. Fast forward to 2021, people are like, wow, I still have my job. Okay, well, I guess I can get back in the market and try to look for a house. Guess what? You know how many other people had that same epiphany? So now all who sat on the couch in 2020 are now outside. We outside, y'all. Everybody outside. They got this we outside, y'all energy. We outside. So now they lined up to see these same houses. And that's what happened. So then it switched over to become a seller's market, because it was like, dang, I just listed my house for 250, but I got all these people that want to buy it. Made a best man win. So, you had that energy of, okay, well, what you coming with? How much you say you would give it to me for? And so you have a lot of people who are coming like, yo, I know, you got your house listed for 250, but I really want it. I can pay up to 265. And the seller like, yo, bet. And then the buyer like, yo, and even if the house don't appraise for 265, okay, I'll just give you the cash anyway for it. That's what's happening, guys. So this extra cash that people are paying on top of these listed prices, a lot of that is cash, because in the traditional lending with banks, they're only going to give you the money for the approved based on the appraised value of the home. So if the home only praises at 250 and you're trying to sell it for 265, bank gonna be like, yo, sis, we got 250 on it. That other additional 15%, you're gonna have to come through on your own. And these buyers are like, okay, bet, that's fine. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So this whole thing, or how back in the day, like you can just have a hard iron pan for no more than 250 or 300, whatever that hard number is. Oh, boo, that's gone. If you got your hard number like that, you might as well not even jump into the game. I know, I will tell you, I don't even bother to entertain or waste my time with even working with someone who are like, yo, my budget. First of all, I can't even work with you if your budget, living in the state of Georgia, if your budget is anywhere in the twos. In the twos right now, threes, I can't even work with you no more either, y'all, because these prices are crazy. It would be legit a waste of a time. So what I find myself asking someone that I come across when they throw out a number, I'll say, well, have you searched online and seen properties within that price point that you liked or whatever? Because that's gonna let you know. Because sis, if you ain't seen a house out there, what makes you think suddenly I'm finna suddenly just have an influx of inventory with houses in that price range? If you didn't looked all on Zillow or wherever you been and you didn't even see it come up in your search. That's what I'm talking about. We cannot be delusional out here. So it's either you're gonna pay the price that's these prices that exist today, or you're gonna be one of those people who are saying, I'm just going to wait for this housing bubble. Because when I talk with people, I hear that a lot, last couple of years, where they'll be like, it's too much. I'm just going to wait. These prices, it's going to pop. I'm going to wait. Okay, that's your business. But as a real estate agent, I can't guarantee either way if it's going to happen or not. It's just really a chance that you take, like it's a chance, like, because I don't know either way. I just can only speak on what's presented to us today. And these prices that we see today, um, they're just going up. It's like I, I can't predict, oh, okay, next Sunday they're gonna start going down. It doesn't work that way. Jennifer says 2020 was the best time to buy. Absolutely. Yep. It was the best time to buy. And anybody, who bought during that time would agree. But, a lot of people, they moved in fear. It was in fear. Why the housing market? Let me see what else where I left off in this article. What causes the housing market? Um, Okay, so even though the report called the current housing market abnormal, the authors concluded that there is no expectation that fallout from the housing correction would be comparable to the 2007 to 2009 crisis in terms of its magnitude. I was also a homeowner, during that time. So I remember when, all that was popping off. Homeowner, in a different part of, Metro Atlanta, in different house, but, I was a homeowner at that time. Quote, household balance sheets appear in better shape and excessive borrowing doesn't appear to be fueling the housing market boom, said the report, adding that the market participants and regulators are better equipped with tools and early warning detectors to thwart such a crisis. So, why the housing market will likely stay hot? Because it's hot right now. Really, the ones who are really benefiting right now, as far as from a financial standpoint, is of course your builders who are selling homes, but the existing homeowners, those homeowners who basically bought pre 2021, like they're the ones sitting in that sweet spot, because as these prices have gone up, guess what? The value of their homes have gone up. So I tell people how I determine at any given time the value of my home. So in my community, I walk my neighborhood, nice community. And it's that time, left and right. People have been slapping for sale signs in front of their yard because a lot of people, I think, are ready to cash out. Some maybe, like fearful that, oh my God, there's going to be things going to go left. Let me hurry up and get out. I don't know, various reasons, but left and right. Since the top of the year, I've seen, neighbors sell their homes. And I will add, these houses are not sitting on the market or longer than like 30 days, like legit. They'll put a house on the market April 1st, closing April 30th. Like, y'all, this is how fast these houses are moving. So what I'll do, I'll look and see what the houses are listed for. Then guess what? I circle back around after the closing take place to see what the house sold for. 100% of the time, the house sold for far more than what the listing price was. Oftentimes, it's minimum $20,000 more than what the listed price was. Period. So, guess what? I equate the value. So, when I want to know, hey, what's the value of your home today? I'll look at similar houses to mine or the exact model because, my house is built in 2018. And I'll look at other houses that's my plan, and which was more of the at the time I bought more on the larger plans. It was a super popular plan and it was one of the more pricey plans. So I look and see what that house sold for. Guess what? That means that if I were to put my house on the market today or whenever, I would at minimum be able to list my house for the same amount that that house sold for. Why? Because that house drives the value of my house. When you're listing a house, putting a house on the market, the comps, what you do, let me give you some background tea on real estate. You get similar houses to the house you want to list and you see what they sold for. Like within like the last, I guess you can say within like the last 90 days, you'll see a comparable house. What did they sell for? That's how you determine what you should list the house that you're currently, evaluating or assessing. It's based off of the surrounding houses within an ideal situation. You want to start off within like a 1 mile, 1 to 2 mile radius. So the closer, the better. So all I do is as I walk around the neighborhood, I just look online, bring out my little iPhone and type in the address, see what it actually closed at, not what it listed at, guys, but what it closed at, which is a higher number. And that lets me know, wow, this is what the value of your home is. That's how I do it. And I regularly do it because I regularly, walk my neighborhood community and these houses are just going up left and right. So I have crazy value in my home. So when I talk about there's a such thing as timing and waiting too late, this is what I talk about. It's what they say. My sister had a saying, your race, your pace, your race, your pace. But just know that there are there's an impact to every decision we make, whether it's good or bad. There is an impact. So you just have to be real to know whatever it is that you're deciding to do, when you decide to do, you have to be real and evaluate the impact. So that's where we are with that. Why is the housing market likely to stay hot? If you were hoping for a major downturn to snag a cheaper home, think again. Most housing experts are predicting the market to remain strong for a while for several reasons. Several reasons. Wow. Um, so there's that. Let's get into what these reasons are. Millennial demand for housing is up, with Gen Z right behind. The number of potential home buyers is plentiful, with Americans who are either millennial age or younger making up half of the US population, or 166 million as of July 2019. This is significant because first-time home buyers represent the largest share, 31% of people purchasing homes, according to data from the National Association of Realtors, or NAR. And most first-time buyers are younger than 40, which means the buyer pool is deep, a good indication that demand will remain strong, especially since housing inventory is at a historical low. So, what that means is that you got more people out shopping for homes than the homes that are available to be purchased, which contributes to the high number of, when I talk about applications, or bids with purchasing a home, where legit, like an agent, I can, list a house on a Friday, and then by Monday be ready to sit down with the seller and be like, yo, these are our offers, which one you want? Like, listen, these times you don't even have to really host an open house. Really, open houses right now for real estate agents is just to garner future business. Is because you don't have to have an open house to sell a house today. These houses are legit selling themselves, because you got so many people, feel like almost everybody and their mama, looking for some place to live, whether that be the purchase or even a rental. So they're basically selling themselves, even a lot of times as is. People aren't even having to do no extras or nothing to these homes. I've seen the dustiest looking homes still be priced at close to $300,000. Oh, the idea of buying houses under $100,000 in the twos, like that is legit a thing of the past, even if you're in the hood, a bad neighborhood, all of that. Because gentrification is real. As I say, I live in Metro Atlanta. So just in particular, say when you're going to Atlanta, you're seeing a lot of communities that we would consider to be quote unquote the hood, to where you're seeing these super nice condos or townhouses being put up, and it's still in the middle of what would be deemed, the not so hot area, but it's a process with gentrification. So what they say, the early bird catches the worm. I know someone who was an early bird. She purchased a 4-story, and this happens to also be a real estate professional. They purchased a 4-story condo, or I'm sorry, not a condo, a townhouse in Atlanta. I guess kind of like near the Beltline, for like about $517,000, and that was she signed that contract in 2020 or 2021, the top of 2021, maybe like March 2021. Closed on it in like November 2021. By the time she closed, that house was already, those townhouses were already selling for over $100,000. So she already had $100,000 equity just by the day she closed. Guess what? Fast forward today, that community, they're selling their townhouses for upwards of $800,000. Remember, she bought at 517 just in March of 2021. You can do the math on calculating what the equity is for that. And guess what? It's still surrounded by like the hood. It is, but there is a plan, a vision that in which she did. she bought on the vision. And in that area, Microsoft is supposed to be coming to Metro Atlanta and building, I guess they're moving their headquarters here, and they're going to put money into that area to make it all nice and everything for when they come. She was aware of all that. So she went ahead and said, hey, let me get in now because I'm aware of the plans, the future plans that are to come. Remember, I told you in 2018, when I was sitting in, a continual education class for my real estate, the instructor talked about, listen, in 10 years, like he talked about it, and everything he talked about, I'm seeing it come to fruition. Like, it's real. That man knew his stuff, which I didn't doubt him at all at that time, but I'm seeing it. It's playing out just as he said. Time is of the essence, guys. So this is what we're dealing with. Let's see what else this article says. Quote, we won't see a downturn because the housing market saw little increase in inventory for the past 10 years. In a few years, Gen Z will be turning 30 and more financially ready to become homeowners than millennials were at their age, says Paulina, whatever her last name is, Senior Director of Research and Lead Economists at Sunday, a real estate marketplace for distressed properties. This means that the demand for homes will be as high, if not higher, while inventory will still be behind in demand. So listen, y'all, I had the nerve to drive by this community yesterday. The sign on the outside said $490,000 starting point. So again, a little bit of real estate game. If you ever drive by a community and they have a sign that talks about what the starting point of those houses, sis, sir, please know that when you walk into that model home and you guys start talking pricing, by the time you walk out, that house then what they're quoting is not going to be that price of what that sign said. Oftentimes that's just to get you in the door. Lies, I say, lies. So like I said, this sign says starting at like 490s. That just means, with me knowing, being keen on real estate, I already know when the contract is signed, said and done, and after they nickel and dime you for all these things that don't come with a base price of $490,000, this house is going to be well over $500,000. Now, do they look like $500,000? In my opinion, no, no, they don't. They don't even have the things that my home have, and it costs half the amount. But timing, it's timing. These builders can slap these prices on there. Guess what? All the houses that look like they were just about finished built, they all have sold signs in front of them. People are still buying them. People are buying them, but guess what? 9 times out of 10, the people that are buying them are families, married couples, not single individual. As I say, walking in my community, 99% of the homeowners within my community are married people. It's very, very few. I can probably count on my one hand. I only know, actually, I can say off bat as I sit, maybe on one hand, how many people that I saw living in a house and I knew, okay, this is a single person. And that was, these are people who bought pre-pandemic. So fast forward today, a single person buying a house at the prices that we're at, it's going to be a small number. So again, back to that question, ladies, are we still walking around saying we do not need a man? And are we still walking around saying that when we're not homeowners? When we don't have that stability in place for whether it be ourselves or our children. To think about with apartments, that's a constant, that's an annual increase. It's an annual increase. So if you're somebody that's trying to be on a fixed income, that's going to be kind of hard to do that when you're living in an apartment and it's written in your lease agreement that there will be rent increase year over year. So these I guess look at these numbers. Generation Z, 21 years and younger, percent of 2021 buyers, 2, medium age 21. Younger Gen Y, millennials, 22 to 30, 14% purchased in 2021, and the medium age was 27. Older than Gen Y, millennials, 31 to 40, 23% of home buyers, medium age of 35. Gen Xers, 41 to 55, 24% of buyers, median age 48. I'm pretty willing to bet a lot of these people too within this price, this age, this range right here at the Gen X 41 to 55. They're people who sold their homes and and purchase again, because I think that you got a lot of that going on where people are starting like to downsize. They become empty nesters a lot of times around this age between that 41 and 55, and they no longer need that space. But guess what? Today, with the pricing's been so high, even your smallest homes, you're likely to be paying more for that home than your house that had the 5 bedrooms, 4 bath, because of the cost of homes today. It's gotten so bad too. I was talking with someone who also I know who's a realtor, who were saying that they signed a contract, for a client, wrote up a contract um, for a townhouse. So typically, I'll let you know the industry standard is a builder or seller will pay 6%. So basically, whatever the cost of that house, they'll pay 6% of that to you. That and now, if there is a real estate agent for the buyer and the seller, you split the 6%. So that's each agent getting 3%. So this real estate professional was telling me that the builder cut the 3% in half. So instead of basically 6% that the buyer and the seller agent share, they are now sharing 3%. So like that was like so it's like they have to have how much she said it was like 1 point something percent. I'm like, well, hell, that sounds like they cutting in half 3%. Where they do that at? So to learn to know that we're in times now where a builder can say, yo, y'all both share 3%. That's 1.5%. But guess what? It's still the same effort you're giving as a real estate agent with following the whole process, which is not a joke. These agents be working now, which is not a joke, with managing the process, setting proper expectations for their clients. It can be very stressful. It's a lot that comes along with it's a lucrative industry, but at the same time, y'all, these agents be working for the money. Listen, don't respect the hustle, respect the hustle. So now to go from 3% from your efforts down to 1.5%. Listen, baby, it make you just reevaluate and just rethink life. Because like I said, your efforts and things is still the same, but that's where we are, because these builders know these houses are going to sell regardless whether a real estate agent is bringing a client or not. They know that people are looking for homes, and they're willing to pay. If they got the money, they willing to take their last dime and use it all up to get that house. And these builders, they know that. So that's an example of how they're benefiting from this situation, dealing with the rise in the cost of homes. Supply can't keep up with demand. Again, that's that. Like I said, I went into that community just to kind of look around, and the houses that were just about done, they had sold signs on there. So no matter how ridiculously priced these homes are, there's still people lining up to purchase them. The article goes on to say the severely low supply is also helping fuel demand and higher home prices, which is another reason why housing experts say the market will remain strong for years to come. So they're saying like that's going hand in hand. The fuel demand, the home price, like all that, excuse me, it's like coming working hand in hand. Quote, the supply and demand imbalance is the primary reason home prices have escalated so rapidly, says Rick Sharp, executive vice president at Realty Track. And after not building nearly enough houses for the last decade, home builders will take several years at least to add enough new supply to balance the market. Listen, y'all, like everywhere I go, I turn, I'm seeing just land getting cleared out. Developers like, doing their thing with clearing out and doing the spacing and separating things or whatever. So therefore the builders can come in and do their thing, because you got to have the developer. They're the ones, getting the land and clearing all that stuff out. Deciding, okay, the positioning of things. Then you got your builder that come in and actually start creating the product. So it's like it's a combined effort when it comes to building property. And that's the process. When you're dealing with just building any type of real estate, you have the developers, and then you have the builders, and they're working together. And then after that, you'll have us, real estate agents that come on board to try to sell the product. You're the saleswoman, you're there to sell the product. In the balanced market, the months of supply would be around 6 months, the time it would take to deplete all homes for sales at the current sales price. But today's market have only 1.7 month of supply, showing drastic imbalance in favor of sellers. So guys, like another thing is you'll go into these new home communities and you're like, yo, I want to buy one of your houses. And they're like, okay, man, well, you'll have to get on the list. There's some communities in my neighborhood that every week they go up on their pricing. The last I knew, they were doing it like $3,000. So every week, the price of the house goes up $3,000. So whenever price of a house go up $3,000, as far as with the new inventory, that's you can add that $3,000 also to your house. So that's letting okay, the price on my house went up $3,000. Like these are little things that you learn when you're having conversations with real estate professionals and things like that. Some communities, maybe I know pre-pandemic, some communities, I think when I bought it, the houses would go up. I think after every 5 houses sold, it might go up maybe $5,000. Well, fast forward to today, y'all, we on a weekly basis, $3,000 every week on the price of a house. So let's just say today I like a house and it's at 400,000. Sis, like by this today or next. So let's just say it's 4,000 this week. We're still in the previous week. So come Monday, it's gonna be 403,000. You see what I'm saying? Like it didn't went up every Monday. That price is going up every week. The price go up. That's what one builder is doing. That's just an example of what's going on out here. It is real. Article goes on to say it is helpful to sign that new home construction climbed at an annual rate of 6.8% in February, the fastest growth since 2006. But the nearly 1.8 million new home starts are unlikely to put a dent in home prices. Quote, it will take time to reduce the housing stock debt we have accumulated, says Odetta Cushy, deputy chief economist for the First American Financial Corp. The imbalance will continue to put upward pressure on house prices, even if they moderate from the peak pace of growth in 2021. Listen, y'all, it's real out here. It's real. And we can't be in denial about it. We just have to adjust. And as I say, move accordingly. And that's when I get back. Let's take it back to ladies. Do we need somebody, because at this point, I really think that it's time for just people, period, men, women, everybody to evaluate their whole life. As they say, a marriage is a business deal. Like it's low key, whether people don't like to hear it. Oh, it's about love. Listen, sis, yeah, it's that too. But you signing contracts, things like that. Go ahead and try to lead that man, or he try to leave you. Y'all finna have whole discussions about money. So again, as I say, a marriage is a business deal. You have to be smart. You have to be strategic. All of that, those things have to be factored in when you're choosing a helpmate. Period. You got to factor that in. So even if by yourself your money is long, but guess what? Your money will be even longer. You hook up with somebody else who money long. That part. Like, so we just can't be in denial about the situation. And we just gotta get out of this la la land that, okay, we got all the time in the world to make it do what it do. And in actuality, as we're going through these articles, we're seeing that is not the case. Time waits on no one. So number 3, borrowers are less likely to default on their mortgages. Among the differences between today's housing market and that of the 2008 housing crash is that lending standards are tighter due to lessons learned and new regulations enacted after the last crisis. Essentially, that means those approved for a mortgage nowadays are less likely to default than those who were approved in the pre-crisis lending period. It's rare today to come across a lender offering so-called no-docs loan where the applicant did not have to provide documentation of income, a common practice before the housing crash. Also, many loans backed by the government have a certain set of standards like minimum credit score and down payment requirements. And regulators now expect lenders to verify a borrower's ability to repay the loan, among other standards. There are more than $1 trillion in new mortgage originations in the fourth quarter of 2021, with 67% of those mortgages going to borrowers with credit scores exceeding $760. Listen, look, that's the gas prices again. 760. The store is considered very good. This score is considered very good according to FICO. Quote, lending standards have gotten tighter and credit scores for new mortgages are much higher on average now than they were in the early 2000s, says Nicole Bouchard in economics at Zillow. Quote, what's much more likely is a gradual slowdown in the pace of price appreciation where home prices continue growing, just not as fast as they are now. When, how, Sway? Like, so the question is, a lot of people like, yo, okay, when is that going to happen? So here's my thing. Yes, I'm on that benefiting side right now because I'm a homeowner, but I know there are so many other people and families who desire home ownership. And I just feel like people who work hard, if you desire to be a homeowner, you should be able to. I don't feel like, these obstacles and things that we're dealing with or enduring now, as far as with like the amount of income that people are making, not lining up with the cost of housing. I don't like that. I don't like getting in conversations with people and families and saying, yo, I really want to own a house, but this is, I can't afford it. Like, I don't like that because I know what it's like to have a family and to desire certain things for your family, to want to better the quality of living for your family. So I'm just a person by nature who can just look at things from all different angles. Hence, with my YouTube channel, I come here, I speak on things from just different points of views because I have the ability to see things from a male angle, the female angle, like from all different angles. It's just what I can do. I'm just very not one-sided. So I like to have these conversations, get into conversations with people, learn about what their struggles are, what their challenges are. And right now, there are a lot of people who are struggling, who cannot afford to keep up with the rising rent prices, the rising house prices. And even though the price cost of housing is going up, the space, the square footage, guess what? It's going down. It's not even lining up. It's like you're getting less for the money. And you got a lot of people who, like, mentally, as I say, can't sleep at night knowing they're about to pay $500,000 for a house that's less than 3,000 square feet. Come on. How, Sway? How? So, number 4, warning signs that could dampen the housing market. Murmurs of a recession. Y'all, have y'all been hearing that word? Recession. Like, so many people are like spooked, like, yo, I got people who call like, get this, get with it. People are like really like just waiting and just to wake up and then, the news running. It's a recession. It didn't hit. So you got a lot of people who are like really like on edge, like looking for that to happen, to take place really like any day right now. Some people consider hell, we in a recession now. Like, it just depends on how you view it. The article goes on to say murmurs of recession have breached the surface of what's otherwise been described by many observers as a strengthening economy. Inflation started rising last year, setting off alarm bells as consumer prices began to climb. In response to the inflation hike, the Federal Reserve raised its federal funds rate in May, the biggest Fed rate hike in 22 years, a sign there could be a slowdown. While the federal funds rate does not directly impact long-term mortgage rate, it does have an effect on short-term rates like credit cards and adjustable rate mortgages, or acronym ARMs. Higher interest rates could trigger a slowdown in consumer spending. So yes, I've been hearing talk, the interest rates being high, they're like, maybe around like 5%. They just been going up. I knew at the top of the year, they were like, yo, like the hikes are going to probably go up 5-6 times. Like, so we are seeing the interest rates go up. So you got a lot of people, you got some people like, yo, no, I don't want to buy now because the interest rate's too high. Even though really back when I bought my first house in like 2024, me and my husband bought our first house, like interest rates were like right around those numbers. So it's just crazy. People are panicking as these rates are growing up. But really, I think, what we saw was just our rates being super low for a long period of time. So now with them going up, if people are spazzing like, oh my God, the interest rates are going up. But guys, think about any of you who were homeowners back in like the early 2000s. What were the interest rates? Like you was doing good. Like if your interest rate was like a 5 or a 6, you were hearing people who had 7%, 8, like a low interest rate back then was like a 5. Like you like, oh snap, you twerk it out. You got you a 5% interest rate, y'all. But now it's like what 5? People spazzing like when they looking at the gas prices. So it's just like, what they say, you get brand new, you get comfortable, you get used to some things being low, or when it was higher, you maybe weren't in a game at that time. So you weren't paying attention. You probably was just a minor and just, you were a kid that wasn't important to you. But someone who was a homeowner during, from early 2000s to now, they can contest to those times when the interest rates pretty much looked like how they're looking right now, with the higher interest rates. That kind of was the industry norm. But they were 3 lower than that for like a long time. So some people argue that, okay, we were super low for a long time, so now it's almost like we're making up for lost times when our pricing and things weren't going up. Remember, there was a time people would always talk about, oh, move to Atlanta, Georgia's a place to live, it's cheapest. But listen, baby, people ain't saying that no more. I think I did a video on it. I've done quite a bit of content where Atlanta is not even considered, like, it's considered now a not so affordable place to live, and I remember, I moved here from California in like 96. So I was a minor, teenager. But as a young adult, in the early 2000s, I just remember it was always a talk of, oh, move to Atlanta. It's the place to be. Anybody can survive. Basically, if you weren't working, it's because you don't want to work. But if you want a house, you can own a house. Like that part, like that was a whole thing. My mother bought a house, and like she was the first like homeowner within our family. The rest of our family were like on West Coast. So what those prices look like. That was still super crazy high even back then. But here in Georgia, she was a homeowner. So everyone was like, bet, wow, she bought a house. But, fast forward to today, becoming a homeowner, like if somebody messing around and you hearing about anybody today buying a house, you like, bet they got loan money, they can live in Georgia, they can buy a house. It's just like a whole different kind of conversation. So the article goes on to say Goldman Sachs projects US GDP for the end of 2022 to expand by a mere 1.75%. Additionally, economists at the Goldman Sachs Group estimate up to a 35% chance that the economy will go into a recession, which would impact the housing market. So a 35% chance. Okay. So listen, the information is here. You just, you take what you want, you leave the rest. So it says Russia's war on Ukraine won't help the economy. I don't know who thought it was, but let's get into it. Energy prices, which were already on the rise, are facing more upward pressure as the U.S. and Eurozone has banned Russia oil after its invasion of Ukraine. Higher energy prices will continue to fan the flames of inflation, which, along with higher rates, could cause people to pull back on spending. This means consumers could lose some appetite for home buying as well. Well, I wonder when that's going to take place, because I haven't seen people falling back from, purchasing these homes in a minute. So, like I said, I told you with all the things that I watch for and, the knowledge that I have, and I'll let you know that time isn't here right now. When they project it to come, I don't know, but it's not here. People are still buying these houses. They selling like hotcakes, old, new, whatever. They're selling. Houses aren't sitting on the market longer than 30 days. Like, listen, these people are getting offers like within days, hours of putting their house on the market. Consumer confidence dropped to a 10-year low in March, according to the University of Michigan's latest consumer sentiment index. The index fell 30% to 59.4 in March compared to last year. The survey showed that respondents were anxious about how Russia's invasion of Ukraine could impact the U.S. economy, as well as high inflation, oil price jump. So we all have seen the increase of the oil. since the war started. Let's see. Jennifer says, let's not forget about the first time homeowners not getting the closing assistance anymore. Listen, like now, y'all remember back a lot of y'all when you bought houses and you had that first time home buyers, those incentives, those deals. Listen, you ain't even getting all that no more, sis. Like that ain't even really a thing like that because these loans, like, oh, remember back in the day when you can be like, yo, I want to buy your house, but listen, I don't want to pay closing costs. Can you pick up my closing costs? Baby, that is like you were probably, as a real estate agent, if you throwing that in, I'm not even trying to even be embarrassed myself to even go and present that to somebody with hollering, hey, my client want to buy your house, but I need you to do this, that, and the third, and also throw and pay some money, pay the closing costs. That is not a thing anymore. Why? As I say, these houses are selling themselves, which you won't do the next will. Okay, they'll be like, oh, okay, well, nice to meet you. We're moving on next to the other, 29 people in the pool. Like, they don't have to do that. So you got to have your money straight together. And like I said, you got to be prepared to come out the pocket, dip into that cash reserve, that 401k. I talked to a lot of people about accessing funds from their 401k. Listen, the way I look at it is that 401k, that's a retirement plan, it's a savings plan. The way I look at it is that when you pull money out of that type of account and put it into your house, you're just taking your money from one place and moving it to the next. That's the logic that I give, because look at and do a comparison on how fast your money is growing in your 401k. Say if you pulled that $15,000 out of your 401k and put it into a house. Y'all, we just went over the numbers on how fast the market and the housing and they talking about a bubble and a pop, but listen, it ain't today. It ain't happened today, and I doubt it's going to happen tomorrow. So is your money growing as fast in your 401k as people's money in their home is growing? I'll stop. I'll give you some time, y'all to go ahead and think about that. Is your money, are you able to, let's just say right now with the way I'll use and realistic examples of going on where a house legit can be $100,000 more in a year. Or, as I use, the real estate professional who I know who bought at 517, closed at, by the time she closed, it was like 100,000 more. So let's just say in 1 year, because technically, y'all, that was less than a year, but just to keep it simple, in 1 year, $100,000 equity. Are you gaining that type of increase on your money in your 401k account? I know I wasn't gaining that kind of money in my 401k account, but where I am seeing a big increase in my home. So listen, that money that I pulled out of my 401k, I didn't lose it. I just reallocated it. So I talk to people when people talk about trying to come up money, how try to have money with buying a house. I use that as an example. I talk about myself, and and a lot of people, they never heard of a such thing, but when they think about it, it's like, wow, that makes sense. You're just, what they say, stealing from Peter to pay Paul. You're just moving your money around. That's all you're doing. You're just moving your money around. My money right now is in my home. Like my financial savings accounts and like that, is nothing compared to my money that's right now today in my home. Like, period. And I'm going to go on a whim and say that that's probably the case for most people, most Americans. The bulk in it, the bulk of their money, their net worth, their asset, all of that is in their property. That's just how it is. A lot of people don't have a lot of just what they call it liquid or that reserve money to go and grab, but they have money in, in the assets like your home. When you sell your home, suddenly you got, okay, all this money. But the thing that a lot of people, are faced with, and even including myself, it's like, okay, well, if I were to sell, what I'm gonna live? Because as I talk about, it's like you're gonna be jumping in the rat race with a bunch of other people looking for some place to live. So here's a real situation. You got a lot of people, they cashed out, sold their house, legit sitting in the bank, 250,000. They sold their house. Guess what? They ain't got nowhere to go because they can't find a house to buy because they're now in the rat race with all these other people who are trying to buy a house. So they're living in an apartment, fat bank account, but can't find a house. Like, it got to make sense for your situation. Right now, I'm still raising my family, my kids, so I can't put them in no situation where we all cramped up in this little small space, but you look, the bank account fat, but we ain't got nowhere to go because real estate costs so much to really, y'all, like the money that we made on the house, when we go put it in another house, that house, the price of that, let me just start by saying the house that we go move in is not going to be nothing compared to the house we sold, because the cost of everything is going up. So it has to make sense for you and your family. That's just what I tell people. If you're a single person, just recently, I knew, my neighbor, a single guy, he was like, yo, I did what you told me to do. Like, he sold cash out, heading to Florida. We hope he don't meet some doggone 21-year-old that's finna take all his money, because he said he was going to Florida, try to find him some hot girls. Listen. So I'm like, Lord, please don't let this man go broke messing around with these young tenderonis. Because he got him some money, y'all. He bought him a car. He had him a Cadillac. And he just said, I'm going to Florida, single man, ex-military. But listen, his plans, hopefully when he get down to Florida, he finds something that he can invest money in and not just be trying to put it on the thoughts, because they will take it. They will take it. It's get him for his money and it be done. So that's the thing, when you are coming across, and you're selling and you got this money, you have to have a game plan. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to try to reinvest it? Are you going to get onto this Airbnb little situation? Like, what are you going to do with it? Have a game plan, because you can easily just go through that money, especially when you didn't already leave with a game plan. You just sold it, and now you just sitting on an influx of cash. So me personally, I don't want that to be my situation. We're like, oh, okay, me and my husband, we sold, we got an influx of cash, but we have no game plan on what we're going to do with it. That part. So just have a game plan. But let's get back, y'all. Let me know, chime in in the chat. I'll get back to the articles and get into this, because I just want to just present a lot of this stuff to you all and just give you food for thought, some things to think about, because a lot of times I talk to people and it's like, yo, I ain't never even thought about that. So I like to get in conversations with people, homeowners, people who are aspiring to buy homes, real estate agents, those who really hit the ground, like just be solid in this. So if you do got anything to add, any expertise, just drop it in there. Knowledge is power. And I just want to get the information out, especially to our communities. Let's see what else this article goes on to say. So let's skip down to what home buyers should do. Home buyers are faced with tough choices in today's market. Predictions indicate that home prices will continue to rise and new home constructions will continue to lag behind, putting buyers in tight housing situations for the foreseeable future. For some buyers, that means moving away from big cities into more affordable metros. So another thing I try to tell people, so I live in Georgia, and I live in a popular county. And I live in Gwinnett County, and a lot of people I'll talk to, they aspire, because Gwinnett County, they're known for having really good schools. So like, my babies were young, that I lived in a different area, so I didn't really like the schools there. So they were in private school. But when we moved from there and came to Gwinnett, I'm like, yo, I like Gwinnett County schools. I'm a product of Gwinnett County schools. I'm ready to, I'll put them in public school. So it was a great move. So I talked to a lot of people who live in Gwinnett County who want to stay in Gwinnett County, but guess what? They can't afford to live in Gwinnett County. So I would refer them out further out, Winder, Barrow County, other counties that at the time wasn't as built up. But guess what? Today it's building up, and it's always, as I say, timing is important. So at this time, when I was having these conversations with these people, remember I talked about in 2020, working with people about, hey, go ahead and get a game buy. I took them out to Winder. Guess what? Property value, everything is crazy. It's being built up. They got in early on. The early bird catches the worm. So sometimes you do have to go out maybe in a more rural area, but guess what? It's not going to stay that way, because as you can recall, just as you're driving out, you're just seeing people, really no matter probably where you are in the US of A, there's constantly people are just building up as far as with adding businesses, restaurants, apartments, condos, townhouses, houses. So when you first get into a place, have a mindset of, okay, it's not going to always look this way. Let me get in early. Let me get in early. And that's what happened in some of these further out places outside of like Gwinnett County that I referred people to, and those who listened who did go out that way. So I did a couple of deals where that's exactly what they did, and they are happy for it. And guess what? They're looking around them and seeing how things are just building up around them. And guess what? That's contributing to their property value. So sometimes don't have the mindset of, oh, I got to get in the hot spot. As they say that saying, you got to crawl before you walk. Sometimes, as I talk about strategy is important. You have to be strategic about it. You got to be like, okay, yo, I can't move to Gwinnett County just today because my money ain't right. But guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and go on over to quote unquote Winder, rock it out there for 5 years. Then when I get my money up, be able to sell because I got my money up through my home. Guess where I'm going? I'm going back to Gwinnett County. Y'all see what I'm saying? It's a game plan. You got to be strategic. And a lot of people, especially us, we want to, y'all know how Black folks, we want to come out the gate. Yo, I want what I want when I want it. And I think other cultural groups are more patient than us collectively, where they're wise enough to kind of have that strategy plan that I'm talking about. Whereas we out the gate, like, no, I want that Beamer, like I want that Mercedes. Like, we're not really trying to just kind of go in intervals or stages. It's just like, no, well, if I can't have what I want now, I'm just going to sit and wait until I can. And that was pretty much the mindset, of people that I was talking to maybe around that 2020 time, where it's just like, well, or let me just say 2021, when everybody kind of jumped out. It's just like, no, I want what I want. So I'm just going to wait it out, keep looking, versus trying to have that game plan of saying, you know what, let me go on over, rock it out. Let's just say to Cab County. Let me rock it out there for 3-5 years. After that, then I get my money up. Guess what? I done made money off of my investment. Now I can afford to go where I really want to go, whether that be Fulton, Alpharetta, wherever you want to go. Even if you want to take your little earnest money and go on to Florida like the neighbor. Lord, I hope he still got some money there. He just closed maybe about 3 weeks ago, and he had his little new cattle. I said, Lord, I'm trying to keep him lifted. So some little young tenderoni won't take it for all his coins. Because listen, he said he was about to go to Florida and live his very best life. And I believed him. Why? Because he has money. And regardless on what he looking like, long as these ladies can see that he got a coin or two, they will take it. So y'all, let's keep the man lifted in prayer. So let's continue on with this article. For others, it means stretching their budget or compromising on the size or other amenities. And then there are buyers willing to roll the dice and forego important contingencies like the home inspection in order to sweeten their offer. Like I said, that is a whole thing where people are legit saying, yo, we ain't even got to do the home inspection. Even if the inspection come back saying the house only worth $200,000, I still give you $250,000. Why? Because they're watching the market and watching the numbers, and they know in a quick, short amount of time, the value is going to be there. And guess what? In their mind, they're going to be like, yo, I made my money back. I just had to wait it out a year to recoup my 50,000. That's fine. That's the strategy. You got to have a strategy plan. I tell that to buyers and things all the time, because a lot of times people don't operate from a strategy standpoint. It's just like, oh, snap, 20 extra thousand. No, I can't do that. But then when I kick it to them like that, it's like, yo, like that makes sense. Like, I get it. I see what you just did with that, man. I appreciate you, sis. So I am one of those agents to where, like, I'm a communicator where I will break things down for you versus it be about just trying to get your money and trying to get you to, like, no, I'm trying to help you to understand and follow the logic, because I'm the same way. Like, help me understand this, because it has to make sense to me. So I want it to make sense to you. So I like to just make sure that the people that I am working with or conversing with, that they have an understanding of what's going on. So article goes on to say this could end up costing them more in the long run if the house ends up having major problems not detected and fixed by the seller upon inspection. That's true. But again, when people are looking at that bottom line and that growth, and they know that they got some little money in the bank already, they like, yo, that's all right. Whatever comes up, I'll fix it. Kind of like buying a car. You taking a chance when you're driving that used car off the lot, but you already know, like, yo, if it break down, and I guess I got to do what I got to do, or I got to sell it, So, it is what it is. So on the other hand, snagging a house now, even if it means sacrificing other purchases, could mean saving money down the road if home prices and equity continue to rise. There's a chance they could also save by getting a house and locking in a rate before both rates and home prices increase. So that's the whole thing, y'all. Like, when locking into your interest rate, securing your financing, because typically, if you're getting new construction, if you're getting a home built, on average, that's going to be about 90 days, 3-4 months. Some communities even tell you, yo, we need a whole 6 months. I've seen people's communities take longer than that, and especially now with the cost of with supplies and materials, and with this whole since the whole pandemic and things like that, it's been harder to come across supplies like getting tubs. Like I've heard agents talk, in new construction agents be like, yo, we can't even close that house or finish it because we've been waiting 2 months for a tub, stuff like that. So that can kind of delay in, a house being ready and things like that, the materials coming in. I know definitely at 2021, that was a really big thing as far as the delay in materials. Now in 2022, I think kind of things have kind of gotten better with that. So I don't think it's as big of an issue, but it's more so today about just the cost of just materials and things like that. And the increase in cost, guess what? Those builders are they're tacking that onto the price of the house. So that's contributing to when you're seeing the rise in the cost of the house, is because the rise of the materials that it's taking to build that house. Like, y'all, it's so bad. Even like a lift, like, yo, like my niece, like, yo, auntie, I need to ride to work. How, sis, can you take a lift? How much the lift cost? Lift. $30 it showed at that moment. She and I talking. She was like, I just took it, like, I think she was like yesterday at a different time or something like that. It was 15. Like, y'all, like I would imagine, I guess if you're like one of those ride share drivers or whatever, like that, the cost of that service has gone up because look at gas. So she went from, okay, $15 of paying the last time she went to the same destination to $30. So yes, I did help assist out and gave her a solid one and took her to work. Because I wouldn't, it was, I just couldn't even, I didn't have it in my spirit to make her pay $30 to get to work. So I went ahead, did my little auntie duties, and took her to work. I'm like, $30. Oh my God. So where I leave off on this article, y'all, let me make sure, check the comments. Jennifer, if you say Gwinnett started out as a country, it's a process. Trust the process. Yes, just like the lot community say, trust the process. Trust the process. You have to trust the process. So let's see what else is saying in here. On the other hand, snagging a house is now even means sacrificing the other purchase, could mean saving money down the road if the home price is equal to rise. Okay. Let's see. Then again, the opposite can be true when there's a risk that limited supply coupled with rising inflation could get so extreme that it hurts the housing market and prices fall, particularly if the economy goes into recession. If we fail to address shortages in housing supply, we run the risk of fueling the fires of inflation rather than extinguishing them. The result could be stagflation, a word most of us haven't used in a generation, high inflation and economic recession, says David Dworkin, President and Chief Executive of the National Housing Conference. This would devastate the housing economy and only exacerbate our current housing supply challenges. If home prices drop suddenly, buyers could be stuck with underwater mortgages, which means they have to stay in the house until the market rebounds or they sell and lose money. While the housing experts predict this scenario is unlikely, still it should not be ignored. So yes, that's a whole thing. That's what was happening in 2008. The value of people's homes drastically went down. But guess what? For those who wrote it out, they eventually came back up in the positive. So when I think about the potential crash with the housing market, things like that, I think about that again, like, okay, riding it out. Those who, many people survived the 2008, crash. So I feel the same way, about, if it were to happen again, you ride it out, period. You just ride it out. So what else it says? This comes into play when buyers are faced with bidding wars or even paying over the appraised value of a home. While there are instances where the tactics should be applied, it must be carefully thought out on whether the home, neighborhood, and time you plan to spend in that house are worth it in the long run. Right. That's a good point. You have to think about, okay, if I'm buying this house, is this my forever home, or do I plan to keep just stay in it for a short period of time and jump out? My community I live in, I moved in it in 2018. I was one of the first two people that closed in that community. So I'm like, I would say I have the oldest home, and that was 2018. And I told you I've seen an influx of people selling That means these people I've seen sell, they all bought after me. So that's 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 4 years. So in 4 years, you've gotten people who's purchased, made their money, they got out. So timing, it's just like, what do you plan to do? Timing's everything. So you have to be strategic. Goes back to that plan, the point I make with having a plan. What's your strategy? You have an exit plan, or are you like, yo, I'm just chilling? So right now I'm still raising my children. So like we chilling for at least another 6 years, like whatever happens in 6 years, what happened. But I'm still raising my kids, so we can't go anywhere. So it is what it is. I'm just hoping for the best. Another important consideration in this market is how long you plan on staying in the home. People are buying their forever home, have less to fear if the market reverses, as they can ride the wave ups and downs, right? If it's your forever home. Buyers who plan on moving in a few years are in a riskier position if the market plummets. So I will say I'm seeing, like, as far as with some of these homes that in my neighborhood where people are selling, a lot of them, they're empty nesters. So their children graduated like this year or last year or so, or their children are really young. They're not like, my children are just right, kind of almost like 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in, like, they're teenagers. So it's just like, two of them are teenagers. And then I got one that's, will be a teenager next year. So I'm kind of like right in that teeter water, mid place or whatever. So I'm like, I got to still chill and ride it out. But for those who are empty nesters, or don't have children, then, the sky's the limit. You can do what you want to do because you're not factoring in the lives of little people with school and all of that. So you just gotta, it's just, person to person, household to household. So when I talk to people, I talk to them specifically about their situation and not talk blanketed. Because somebody who's single talking to you, they're gonna be talking a whole different language than say somebody who got a whole family. Like, no, you gotta be realistic, and you gotta address the lifestyle of that particular person and what they got going on to have the most sensible conversation. What else, Dark? It says another important consideration in this market is how long you plan on staying home. People who are buying for, okay, so that's what we went over. That's why it's so important to shop at the outset for a realtor and lender who are experienced housing experts in your market of interest, or who trust or give sound advice. So that's where I come in there, guys. I like to, be somebody to just really speak with you, from a sensible perspective, not just about, oh yeah, let's sell and make some money. No, like, because I don't want you to sell, make money, and then now you homeless. But your bank account fat, but you homeless. You ain't got nowhere to go. Like, no, that's not what I do over here. So and many people kind of, they appreciate that when, they get into conversations with me about real estate. So I'm often, especially in my neighborhood, people like to, if they catch me walking in my neighborhood strolling, they like to stop and, pick my brain about real estate and, get my thoughts. So the last thing I want to talk about before I jump off of here, y'all, because we've been on here for a little minute, the rising prices in food. Like, so we didn't talked about like the gas, the housing. Let's talk about the food. Like, now the new thing you hear a lot of people talk about is the baby formula, like tampons. Like, I took a notice so I don't have to deal with the, baby formula and things like that. But I have peeked the shelf where it ain't much you can choose from. But what I do still have to deal with is, with the purchase of, monthly feminine products. And I have noticed in the last couple of months what I normally purchase as far as like the particular brand, the type, the count, like it's not there, where I'm having to maybe pick up something that I ordinarily wouldn't pick up. It serves its purpose, but it's not what I normally would buy. And then, recently I heard, hey, there's a shortage on tampons. I'm like, okay, that's what I had already started seeing. I took notice of that, but okay, now it's hit the news. There is, sis, you ain't tripping. There is a shortage in tampons. So let's get into this article to talk about food prices. So this is on, where we at, Fortune. Don't expect the huge rise in food prices to slow down anytime soon, Bank of America says. So this article was written April 21st, 2022. And it goes on to say Americans are already experiencing some serious sticker shock at grocery stores, but they had better get used to it. The inflation rate for food is expected to continue its historic rise through the end of the year, according to Bank of America. Say it ain't so. Like I said, I know somebody who's still boycotting hot wings. Like, sis, like, listen, I can't do it. I went from buying wings once a week to I ain't bought them in 4 months. Like, it's serious. Like, it's serious out there. Article goes on to say that's not exactly surprising considering food inflation saw its largest annual increase in March since 1981. Yo, just a little fun fact about your girl. I was born in 80. So not this since 80, since I was 1 year old, we hadn't seen this type of situation on, at this magnitude. So rising at 8.8 percent year over year, but things may get even worse. Say it ain't so. Let's all bow our heads. Bank of America analysts led by Alexander Lynn said in a note on Thursday that they expect U.S. food inflation to hit 9% by the end of 2022. Listen, ladies, any of you single ladies that's listening tonight, please start working on your game. I don't know what you need to do. Buy you some little dresses, get you your little outfits together, comb your hair, wash your face, slap some lip gloss on, slap some polish on your nails and your toes. You need to be out here on the hunt. Like, it is cuffing season for real, like yesterday. You need a sponsor. However you need to do it to sleep at night. The moral of the story is you need partnership. You need somebody to be like, yo, sis, yes, I want to wife you up. Whatever you need to do, whatever tricks out the hat you need to pull, you need to do all of that. All of that. Especially for my sisters who are single and they messing around with kids too. Listen, I was talking to a woman today. She hit me with, girl, yeah, we expecting baby number 6. Babe, who expecting baby number 6? Sis, let's talk about, do you have a vehicle to transport baby number 6? Well, we driving a minivan already. All right, then. Listen, more power to you. I said, how were you feeling when they told you that you was expecting baby number 6? Girl, she gave me this look, like this crazy look. Like, I'm like, I know the look. Like, she was just looking just distraught as she's holding baby number 5 in her lap. This not even this right at a year and a half. Listen. The struggle is real. And since she got a whole husband, so praise God that she not out here playing these kind of games by herself. She do got a husband, so she got partnership, but she got to do what she got to do. Understand that. I got 3. I remember the day I learned 3 was coming. So listen, you got to do what you got to do, but y'all, we have to move smart in these streets. Be strategic because the numbers don't lie. It just said the prediction is food inflation to hit 9% by the end of 2022. Y'all, we're already halfway there. Rising prices for staples like bread, milk, and meat should continue this year as the price shock from the Russia-Ukraine conflict hits American grocery stores. Quote, looking ahead, we think that consumers will continue to feel the pinch of the elevated food inflation, the analyst wrote. While there has been a lot of attention on the shock from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, we believe that it is too early to see the impact at the grocery store. Rather, it should lead to sustained price increases later this year. So I've been hearing a lot of talks for people looking for pricing and things to really kind of elevate, this summer, come like July, August time period. But listen, all I do is just do what I do, work hard, and just try to be strategic and smart about how I spend my coin. Look, we got 3 little, 3, I'm not gonna say they're little ones, but we, my husband and I were we got a family of 3, one that will be entering college, 2023, class of 2023. So listen, it's a lot going on and we just got to be smart, as you have to as well. You just got to think logical and be smart. Bank of America's analysts noticed that farmers have been grappling with rising costs like never before. The cost of agricultural chemicals, including fertilizers and pesticides, has jumped almost 50% in the past year alone. March producer price index showed, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict has only made matters worse. Y'all, do any of y'all ever, I don't know, y'all want to call it conspiracy theories or what, think that a lot of times like this stuff is planned, like, yo, let's cause conflict, let's go to war. Because they always say, war makes money, because of, the material, the things like the job that it creates as far as, with making weapons and all that. What's your thoughts on that? Like, because it's like, when you look at the timing, what we got is election season, y'all. Do y'all think, Uncle Joe gonna get back in the house, in the White House? You know, are people fleeing like roaches running from the White House? Like, yo, they trying to bail out from the Biden administration like super fast. Did y'all hear? I'm in Atlanta, as I say, or Metro Atlanta, but Keisha Lance Bottoms, she was our mayor up until this year. She didn't run again, so she's no longer our mayor. But they say, she just accepted a position, a pretty high advisory position, to the Biden's administration and things like that. So sis got a whole new job. I know I remember they had said some months back that she was going to be like a CNN correspondent. So I don't know how that goes into play, if she's like, yo, CNN, thanks, but no thanks. I got me a better gig. I'm going over to the White House, so I appreciate you, but I'm not gonna be able to take that offer. Or would she be trying to kind of fit them both in? I don't know. But again, y'all, that's Keisha Lance Bottom. She was our Black mayor for, I guess she's held it down for what, like probably like 2 years. I think she held it down for about 2 years. So now, we got somebody else. I don't know. Don't ask me what their names are. I don't live in Atlanta, but we got somebody else running the show now. So yes, Keisha Lance Bottoms. She will be, working in the White House. So I'm not quite sure when she's starting her new job, but that's the latest on that for those who are ATLians. So let's continue on to get through this article, y'all. We'll wrap it up, but I just want to hit on all this because, y'all, I just want my people to know that, listen, we got to get it together. Russia was the world's top exporter of fertilizer in 2020, sending nearly 8 billion worth of critical fertilizing compounds, including urea and potash, to the countries worldwide, according to the Observatory of Economic Complexity. So, fertilizer prices increases have also been exacerbated by higher costs for natural gas, which is critical in the production of nitrogen-based fertilizers. And fertilizers and chemicals represent 10 to 20% of the total cost for U.S. farmers, Black Americans say. That means consumers should expect higher prices for their favorite vegetables and fruits as the year go on. I've been hearing people talking about, listen, we need to grow our own food. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Like, I got my own seeds and all of that, but sis ain't got no fertilizer. So I guess I need to stop playing and go ahead and get that, because I can't do nothing with no damn seeds if I ain't got no fertilizer. But listen, y'all got to prepare, because, things are like looking real rough for us. I mean, it's looking like, them Netflix movies we be watching. Y'all, anybody ever seen that movie? What is it called? The Green or something Green? And listen, like on Netflix, it's crazy how that's what make you wonder, like, if a lot of stuff times things be planned, because you'll watch these shows or these old movies and things, or not even some of the movies aren't even that old, and it's just talking about just pandemics, sicknesses, disease, and then fast forward with what's been going on with the world in the last couple of years. To me, it's like a whole Netflix movie. I've been saying that, like, okay, this feels like a horror, like a bad Netflix movie that I can't turn off. I can't get to end. I mean, that's how I've been feeling. So goes back to say, like, yo, do this stuff be planned? What else this article says, but rising fertilizer prices won't just lead to higher prices in the produce section. The cost of prepared animal feed has rallied 12.7% last year, according to Bank of America, which should lead to rising prices for meats as well. Y'all know we need our meat. There are signs that companies are passing through higher costs. The Bank of America team said margins took to be growing on both the wholesale and retail level, suggesting that companies have regained pricing power and are comfortable letting the consumer eat higher costs instead of them. Wow. Busted supply chains, increasing consumption. Rising gas and diesel prices, coupled with labor problems in the trucking industry, are also leading to supply chain headaches that will only serve to increase food costs for Americans. The transportation of Freight Index, which measures the cost of shipping goods in the US, jumped an incredible 24.5% year over year in March, largely due to the truck driver shortage that's been creating problems for suppliers for years. Yo, I've been here. Somebody was telling me today, y'all, these trucks ain't moving. There ain't really no trucks out there on the road. So I don't really drive that much, my job, fortunately, I pretty much work from home 100% of the time. So I don't really be out here on these streets like that. So are the drugs like, are these trucks still out there like they used to, or do you, have you taken notice or, feel that there's less, drivers out there on the streets? Now you need a sponsor. Stop. Listen, Jennifer B. Yes, you need a sponsor. Yes, you need, yeah, that's exactly what you need. You need a sponsor. Because I don't know what other word we can put on it that to keep to make it cute for people to take it serious, in particular, the women in our community, because y'all know, most of us growing up, mama, auntie, and told you don't need no man. You can go to college, get your degrees. You don't need y'all know I ain't the only one who heard that. Y'all know that's the culture. That's the culture to talk about what we don't need. And fast forward today, them same people who was preaching that to you, not most of them are still rolling through life solo. So a lot of times I say too, what they say, you got to pay attention to the messenger and how they move and what kind of lifestyle they're living. Like you got to take that into an account. We can't just be taking advice from any and everybody. We got to like really, be honest with ourselves and really look at what the situation is of the person who's preaching the message. Like I'm saying, like when I oftentimes talk to people, I talk about things, from like I'm not going to tell you or guide you down a path to where that ain't even what the heck I did. Like if I'm talking to you about marriage, okay, I'm married. I've been married almost 18 years. Like, so I'm talking to you from a place of experience. I'm not on here like you got a lot of people talking about marriage relationships and they ain't never been married. They're single moms. This and not to say that, okay, something's wrong with it. I'm just saying that I speak from a perspective of, okay, this is what I'm doing. So that's where I'm speaking from versus, well, this is what I feel like how it should be, and you just got a lot of people who are just, going off of what seems logical to them. Okay, well, if that's, that's how you roll, I'll listen to the content of some of those. But what I'm saying is that when we're trying to implement things in our lives, we have to just, look at the whole picture of, okay, um, the situation of the person who's presenting the information. That's all I'm saying. Jennifer Bibby says, sounds like you need to wrap it up or he needs a vasectomy. Listen, that too, something, but we got to be smart because what we can't do is afford to be having all these babies and they ain't even got enough the big vehicles out here don't even make enough seat. I legit told that woman I knew that I had to stop having kids when I had went through all the makes and models of the vehicles at Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, because every time I have a baby, I would go back, be like, yo, I need another row. By the time I got to the third row in the sunroof, I knew it ain't no coming back. And when the in-laws told me, listen, sis, our van only seats um 7 or however many you seat at the time, and my last baby took up that last seat, that was also a sign that I had to bail out. Like I'm all about signs. It ain't no seats for nobody else at the table. I don't know what a sign is if that ain't a sign. But let me try to finish up this article. All about signs. All about signs. It wasn't no more seats for no more babies. So that was my cue. Okay. Yeah, yep, this is it. So vasectomy it was. My husband got a vasectomy after we had our third child, and that was in 2010. Yes. So think smart. What else this article goes on to say? The trucking industry was dealing with a shortage of drivers even before the pandemic. Now the market tightened even more dramatically, leading to a surge in trucking costs, the Bank of America team explained. On top of that, Americans are now eating more than they have in the past. Bank of America said food spending now accounts for 13.5% of U.S. consumers' spending habits compared to 13% pre-pandemic. I do feel like my money or our household money definitely goes on food more than it did before. As I say, I work from home. Um, I'll eat out pretty often, during my lunchtime, I'll just like want to leave the house and get away. So I can see how, see that I'm spending more money in the area of food. And then now it's the summertime, so the kids are home. So of course, y'all, anybody whose parents know how that go, when your kids home, like, they ain't just eating and playing games or on the internet, so that's the downside about the summertime, because your kids eating, you got a house and home. At least when they go to school, you only worried about dinner because breakfast and lunch is accounted for. But that's all I'm saying. So widespread warnings. Bank of America isn't the only one warning of rising food costs either. On Tuesday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said at the U.S. Department of Treasury's Tackling Food Insecurity, the challenge and call to action event, that food insecurity will rise alongside food prices. Food insecurity, that's a whole new, I ain't never even heard. I didn't even know, y'all, that was a thing. Food insecurity. Yellen said Russia's war on Ukraine has only exacerbated pre-existing price and food supply pressures, undermining the U.S. economic recovery from the pandemic. The USDA has also warned that food prices will rise in 2022, but it isn't as pessimistic as Bank of America. In a March study, USDA researchers concluded that food prices will rise as much as 5.5% this year. Listen, y'all, it is what it is. We got into it today. It is what it is. I brought it to y'all. I can only hope that you take this information, you make it do what it do, you apply it, you take what you take, you leave what you leave. But we have to be out here moving smarter, moving smarter. Hey, before I let you go, there's this article. Let me and I might can do another live too to kind of delve more into it. You can let me know, in the comments if you want me to. But as I talked about, and I would throw in these little subliminal comments about the dating and things like that, I came across this Essence article. And this was, from 2020. So this was during the year of the pandemic, when everything started. Top 7 reasons why single Black men don't approach Black women. Y'all. I said I might have to start a whole new, do a new live for this one. But I just found it to be, quite interesting with some of the reasons. Number one, we went straight to the source, so went straight to the source. Okay, so let's see, matchmakers. Let's see, 2, we don't seem as fun. So I guess these are things that Black men are saying about women. We went straight to the source. We don't seem as fun. We look like we can't be bothered. Y'all, ladies, smile. Smile. That's all I'm saying. You will look more approachable. We don't offer enough support. Listen, we're more inhibited sexually. What that mean? What we got our limitation? What that mean? We want what we want. Listen, I said what I said. I want what I want. Y'all know. And our friendliness is often misunderstood. So, like I said, I might save that one, for a different live to get into. But these men are like, listen, like we want to talk to you, but these are the hangups. This is what we running into. This is what we running into. So y'all, we need to try to find a medium to fix this, because like I say, I think this cuffing season is given like this is here forever. Like it's not technically a season. It is what it is, like year round, even though if you call something still a season when it's just constant. Because a season kind of has a start and an end. Like to me, with what we're dealing with, it's like it is with like there's no start and end. Like we need to find that start and keep it going. You get your relationship, you get your marriage, you work on it, you keep that thing going. Survival of the fittest. So look at your pocket, look your wallet, your bank account. Like that's gonna let you know what your situation looking like. Like let it drive by that. If you like, I don't know what to do. Okay, well, bring up your bank account. Look at that. Think about, what your employer giving you, what your raises look like, how much of your money your children eating. Like, think about all that. That should help you come to the decision on whether or not you good, quote unquote, good, air quotes, you good on rolling solo, or if You need to go ahead and find Brian, hit him up and tell him that, you cussed him out last week, but you was just it was just that time of the month. And you ready to go to dinner. Like I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, you gotta do a whole entire about face, because that's how serious it is out here. And I just hate to see people homeless and hungry, and these babies, like, ain't got no father figures around, mama ain't, like, all of that. We need to try to figure out how we can make it work. So I may try to, do a different live to kind of really hone in on that, because right now more than ever, I just really think that the Black family really need to strengthen. Black men and women need to come together, to create a more stable and solid situation. And as a result of that, the number shows that our children, our babies, benefit more from environments where there are, where the parents are married. There's the mom and the dad, living together. Like, they live, as they say, the numbers don't lie. They are what they are. Don't get mad at me. I'm just here to report the information. But I said what I said. Thank you for joining. Please like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on this topic. If there's, something you want me to address, if you want me to get into that whole situation, with the relationships and things like that. Like, do you see that, like, we we really need to get it together, and for reasons such as, what, I went over tonight in this live. So let me know, drop a comment. I appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you got your notification bell on, so you know when I go live, because as I say, I'm real random over here. It's just when the spirit moved me, sis will hop on. So also, these articles we went over, I always typically put them in my description. So if you want to kind of go back to them, I'll share them in a description, so you can go, read them for yourself. Share them. What they say, sharing is caring. Share the articles with, those who you damn care about. Share this live. Make sure you got your notification bell on, so you know when the next time I do come here with just the information, y'all. I just come with it. It's just what I do over here. We are the starlets over here, and we just get into all things that just needs to be talked about. So thanks again, y'all. Blessings to you. And I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.